Welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Stable. Today I have a very exciting guest. It is Katy Kemp. Katy is a working hunter specialist. She also does loads of coaching and stuff as well.
Yeah.
I don't actually do working hunter and I don't know a lot about working hunter. So I feel like this is going to be really interesting, not just for the viewers, but for me, because I get to learn all about it. And I'm super excited to learn all about it. So if you guys are watching this and you've not done working hunter before, maybe you've not even heard of it before, definitely keep listening to this episode because I know it's going to be very, very interesting.
Good, yeah, no pressure.
No, I know it will be. I've watched all your content and given you good
bless
stuff,
you.
and yeah, I'm
Good.
super excited.
Good.
So I want to start off by going right back to the start of your journey.
Yeah.
And tell me how you got into horses.
Into horses. Oh my God, my mum. Mum had ponies when she was younger, but she didn't have any facilities and her parents weren't interested or anything. So she desperately wanted us to have everything we could. So me and my sister we actually both started eventing. I did like pony club and everything like that, but we both were really keen to event. And I had a really bad accident, just stupid mistake actually. And the horse, actually, I hate fixed fences in my head, but if the fence had been fixed, I wouldn't have had the accident. It was last fence was like a flyer, and it was a tiger trap, and he touched the top, and it flipped, he flipped, and I ended up underneath the fence and him. I don't remember any of it, so that's fine. But I think Mum after that was obviously a little bit nervous to let me go eventing again, which is understandable. So yeah, we started working hunter, and we actually had a beautiful pony who we had some friends who had moved over from Germany, Bettina Melliger, and we had a pony of hers, and he was a little monkey, and he was 4, and I must have only been about 6, 7. No, I must have been older than that. I must have been about 12, but he was so naughty. And I remember my first. Yeah, so we started doing some working hunter with this pony, and he seemed to be really successful, really enjoyed it, and you just get a bit of a bug when you start showing like the family you have around you. Like there's people I've grown up with doing the working hunter ponies that I'm still friends with now, and they're still, a lot of them are still doing it now as well. So I did all the pony classes. I've worked my way up through 13, 14, 15 intermediates. I had some brilliant ponies. I had a wicked pony that's actually still alive now called Highland Harry, and he won everything, but he won the Desert Orchid, which is like the biggest competition you can win at Arena UK, which at Arena UK now. When I won it, it was at Peterborough, and it's like 27 fences, and it's enormous. And he was brilliant. So he kind of put me on the map a little bit. I think he's 33 now, bless him. We still own him. I don't sell anything. I'm terrible at it. So I had some really good ponies, and then I had a gap year, and I went and spent that with Robert and Louise Bell. I wanted to learn more about, I knew nothing. I think in my head I thought I knew everything, and then you suddenly get thrown on a proper busy yard, and I was like, oh okay. I brought back down to earth and thought, I've really got to work hard at this. I learned a lot there. I learned a lot about running a yard, a lot about working hunter, about if I did it myself, how I'd want to run everything, and how I'd want to, I think it just gave me a real bug to want to be as good as I could at it. So then I went to university and had a few years there, and then I moved home. I was going to be an accountant, and I went to London for a day, and I got lost on the tube, and I rang my mum in a panic, and I was like, I hate it, and I don't want to do it, I just want to come back into Warwickshire, and I don't. So the idea is I came home. I lasted a day. How embarrassing was that? So I came home. Mum was like, right, well, let's try and make horses work. So yeah, I've kind of been playing around with it ever since. I'm really lucky. I've had some brilliant horses. I've had some brilliant mentors, some brilliant people who've helped me along the way. In particular, I had a guy called Rory Gilsenan he was just like a working hunter legend. And he took me under his wing a little bit. He actually sold the prof to me through Sophie Buckley. Sophie owned him, and then she sent him to Rory to get him going and working hunter. And Rory was like, he's a king of a horse, you've got to have him. So did, and he was a little sod. So that was fun. But he took me under his wing, and he taught me so much about it. He taught me so much about ringcraft and about horsemanship, and with working hunter, they really do have to be. They have to be beautiful. They have to be able to jump at least 130s really. Now Horse of the Year show is massive. Hickstead was big enough as well this year. Like Hickstead, you have walls, ditches, hedges, and the course is proper up to height. It's a decent 120. And then horse of the year show, like I said, the last fence this year was 135. So we really do need horses that are capable of jumping. But then they've got to be able to come down. You've got to have a ride judge get on. They've got to be sane enough for a complete stranger to just get on and walk, trot, canter, and gallop. And some of those judges will give them a real proper kick in the ribs to go and gallop, and they've got to be able to take that. Then obviously we get off, and they've got to have beautiful conformation. They've got to stand up well. They've got to move straight. So they're really hard to find. It's not like you can just go to a show jumping competition and pick one out and go, oh, that's vaguely pretty, let's have that one, and it jumps well. They've got to have the full package, which I think is why a lot of us now are still struggling to find the next ones. So yeah, and there's a lot of work to put into them to make them look like show horses. So yeah, while I do love working hunter, and it is like a bit of a sickness, I think, but it's a brilliant class. It's like on the Wednesday at the Horsey Issue, it's the class everybody wants to go and watch. So yeah, we're like always looking for the next one to bring out, trying to find them. And they take a long time to develop, and some of the jumps they make us jump are crazy. Like I have a guy who trains me who show jumps, and he came to the Horse of the Year show and he was like, none of my Grand Prix show jumpers would have wanted to jump this. I'm like, I did warn you. It's like, it's very different. So yeah, I love it. But yeah, so that's like my little journey, I guess. So
You mentioned that you started out in Pony Club.
yeah.
For anyone who wants to get into working hunter or just into horses in general, do you think that was a good setup for you?
Oh yeah, I loved Pony Club. I was so feral. I wanted to be a mounted games person for ages, but I couldn't vault. I couldn't get back on. But yeah, Pony Club is a brilliant way to start. And we're very lucky. We've got some brilliant pony clubs around here. But I think, everyone starts to sort of try to find their niche, and you just have to start somewhere. And Pony Club is a brilliant place to start to get a bit of a grounding of, and then you start to work out what you want to do. And then that's what I did. I sort of branched off and started to find people in showing to go for lessons with. And like I say, like Louise Bell taught me when I was 11, I think she started. So yeah, I learned an awful lot, and from a very early age. And yeah, you do, but you have to have somewhere to start, and then you can sort of pop off and find your little niche that you want to go along with. But again, I even when I remember when I went to Pony Club the first time I went to Windsor, I think the Pony Club actually came and had a day out trip and came and watched me. Like, it was lovely. I think I did rubbish, but even so, I think it was like, just, again, you have to start with that nice little family, and everyone has to start somewhere. So yes, definitely.
I've been working with the Pony Club for the last couple of months, and I have absolutely loved learning some of the benefits that come with being a member of the Pony Club. So I thought I would just jump on here and let you guys know some of the benefits as well. So whether you are looking to ride, learn, compete, or make some amazing friends along the way, the Pony Club is definitely the place for you. You don't even need your own pony to be part of the Pony Club. Whether you're just starting out riding or you've been riding for a while, the Pony Club is the perfect place to level up your skills. Plus, you can gain experience and qualifications if you're looking to have a career with horses. You'll learn everything from riding techniques to horse care, and you'll also get access to some amazing activities such as fun camps and amazing competition. You can join the Pony Club at any age up to 25, so if you would like some more information, head across to pcuk.org. Or you can follow the link down in the description for some more information. And then you went on and you worked on that very busy yard.
Yeah.
Can you speak me through what that was like and transitioning onto that?
Oh God, I've never worked so hard in my entire life. It was brilliant. I kind of went as a bit of a working pupil. I took my pony with me, Harry, and I would never have won what I won that year if I hadn't had that kind of knowledge and backing behind me. But I rode all sorts of different horses, like some brilliant horses, some terrible horses, some difficult horses. I got to go to a lot of the big shows and understand all about show prep, like Turnout as well. Again, for working hunter, they have to be immaculate. Like, the horses their tails are immaculate. They're pulled beautifully. They're plaited to perfection. There is not one hair out of place. They have to have a little bit of makeup on if they need it. They have to have quarter marks on. Like, a lot of when you think you go into the ring for 2 minutes, it's like a whole day preparation the day before, bathing them, getting everything ready, and then obviously preparation before you go in the ring. So yeah, I learned an awful lot there. And I think, like I say, I went as a working pupil. I think sometimes people now are too quick to just think they know everything, and actually I learned so much when I sort of took a bit of a not a step back, but I sort of came out of my comfort blanket. I think I thought I knew everything, so I'd done all the ponies, and I didn't. I certainly didn't know anywhere near what I thought I knew. And I did. I everything I probably know now I learned there, and I'm not sure I'd still be doing horses now if I hadn't had that sort of backup back when I was, well, it was my gap year. So just after I finished my A levels, and it was that sort of age where you sort of need to learn everything, don't you? So yeah, so definitely that massively helped me.
What
Um,
did a typical day look like for you when you were working there?
so they had hunters as well. So if I was, we had like in the winter, gosh, we get a crazier clock. We get everything mucked out. We'd get the first lot out hunting. We'd then get second horses ready. We'd take second horses out. I loved that. That was like, I got to drive some of the owners' cars and I thought it was like amazing. Then we get everything back, have to wash first horses off. Then we'd have to go and pick up second horses, wash second horses off, get all the tack cleaned, and everything was immaculate. Like, we did not finish a day unless everything was back in its place. The horses were washed as if they were going to a show the next day. Our tack was all clean, everything was pristine, and then you start again the next day. And then same with the in the show season, I think we had about 26 in when I was there, roughly. So we get everything mucked out, ride everything. If we're going to show days, be certain people who go to show, certain people who stay at home. So we have to get all the horses platted. And we usually always platted in the morning. We never like platting the day before because they wouldn't look smart enough if they'd rub them or whatever. And yeah, then if we drive to the show, have a show day, do everything we had to do, get back, still again had to clean all the tack when we got back, make sure the horses were immaculate, put them to bed. So yeah, it was horses are really hard work. Like, and I don't think, sometimes I think people realize how much hard work goes into the preparation, the time spent, the falling off at home, the training, the long hours, the up all night when they're ill. It's everything you go through just to get that little red rosette. And it is a more than full-time job. It's crazy, and I think that's why you really, really do have to love, and I really do mean love it, to want to do it, because certainly none of us do it to be millionaires. Be great, but it's definitely not happening.
You said that you learned a lot whilst you were there.
Yeah.
What is the biggest lesson you learned, or maybe the best piece of advice that you were given?
Oh, that's a good one. Fail to prepare, prepare to fail.
Okay,
There you
that's
go.
good.
Definitely, because it was always like they should drum into me preparation, preparation, preparation. Like, you can never work too hard. You can never like be over prepared for something. They We used to do all our training at home, and I was always told you do all your training at home and then you go to the show to pick up your rosettes. So we never ever went in the ring without, like, the horses were always prepared so beautifully. You'd go in the ring knowing your job, like you never went in nervous or anything because you knew what the horses were or weren't capable of. Um, so yeah, I definitely think I got my OCD when I was there. I used to have like nightmares at night that I hadn't painted some of the horses' feet or something, or if I'd like forgotten to wash one properly or something. So yeah, it was an experience, but yeah, I definitely learned everything there, and that was, yeah, definitely, I like that one.
I want to take it like right back to basics for
Yeah,
anyone who doesn't know about Working Hunter
yeah.
or the rules or anything like that.
I've got me to make sure I do
Speak
now.
me through the discipline and what it actually is.
Ooh, good one. Okay, so Working Hunter, I guess, is a bit more of a performance class compared to your show hunter classes. Um, so, like I say, we have to jump a set of rustic fences, usually 12 fences, which will include, depending on what kind of show you're at, some of the county shows, the courses can be a bit more extravagant. Sometimes just your normal local qualifiers, they're just basically a set of rustic fences, and they usually have to have a horse train them. So we jump a set of fences, and the idea is you go clear. Sometimes if you have one down, you'll get called back in to go and do your confirmation and the ride. But if you have a pole down, you get deducted 10 marks. So you're already 10 marks behind somebody who has gone clear. It is possible to beat a clear round. Actually, when I qualified this year, I'd had a pole down and I beat a clear. Not that doesn't happen very often, but ultimately the horses still have to be show horses. So once you've done that clear round, that's when in an ideal world, you'd like a working hunter to be capable of doing a show hunter class as well, because they've got to be able to hold their own then. So we'll all then be called back in. We'll go walk, trot, hunt around, and the judge will ask us to gallop, which is sometimes fun. And then the judge will watch us walk around and call us in depending on who they like best. So they'll pick however many in, don't hit the microphone, pick however many ins, like first, second, third, and then the judge will ride them. So the judge will usually again walk, trot, canter, and have a gallop. Then we have to take our saddles off, strip the horses, stand them up so conformation, so the judge can judge their conformation, see what they look like, check they've got no lumps and bumps. Then we'll walk away, trot back, so again they're assessing if they move straight, and then put our tack back on, and then obviously call for placing. So you can qualify. There's a lot of different areas of working hunter. There's lots of, you can do local normal shows. You can then step up and do affiliated, which is under sport horse breeding rules. So SHB we call it. So then you can do novice working hunter, which is for the younger, and it's quite good. They're about 85-90 centimeters, so it's a good way to start the young horses to go and kind of, it'll be a smaller course. They don't always put a horse tray in, or if they do, it'll be really little, but just a nice encouraging novice class. And same principle, the judge will still ride them. Then there's the step up, which is a 1.5 meter open, which again is kind of a good bit in the middle to just to get the horses ready for the opens, because when you then step up to the Hickstead and the Horse of the Year show qualifiers, it's a big step up from novice. Like to suddenly go from jumping the little sort of 85-90 courses and then suddenly up to a 115 with big horse trays, scary fillers, scary everything. It's a big ask. So they've introduced this nice 1.5 meter class, which is really helpful, just to set the horses up. And then, yeah, so then like you have Hickstead qualifiers for the first half of the year, usually up until about June. Hickstead is at the end of July, the Royal International. And then Horse Theatre qualifiers start, we have a couple around April time, but they're a little bit early. It's like usually about the end of May. And then that's just kind of the season where you're just driving up and down the country trying to chase these qualifiers. But yeah, so there's plenty of shows, but there's also, for anybody not necessarily wanting to do Horse Theatre show or Hickstead qualifiers, there's and quite a lot of these classes are held at shows that also hold Horse Theatre show or Hickstead classes. So you can still go and have the kind of buzzy atmosphere and enjoy being at a good show without feeling like you've got to jump those massive courses. So yeah, that's like, it's good. There's plenty of variety for anyone who doesn't actually want to step up and have to do Hickstead or Horse Theatre show qualifiers.
And when the judge gets on, or when they're watching you, what are they looking for in the horse's gaits?
Good question. So normally you want to see manners. Manners are so important. The horse has got to be well behaved, it's got to be off the bridle, it needs to be light in the hand. The judge doesn't want to get on and school your horse. They want to get on and it goes. They just should be able to get on and press the buttons, walk, trot, canter, and when they put their leg on, the horse should go into gallop. So the judge ultimately, they want a nice ride. They want to be able to sit there and think, God, I'd love to take this horse hunting. So ideally, like when we train the horses here, I have all the girls ride the horses. I'm never precious about only I'm allowed to ride them. Everybody rides them, because you never know what kind of rider you're going to get in a judge. You might get a lovely little lady rider, you might get a really gung-ho older hunting man. So all the horses have to be used to having different people getting on them. But yeah, so most, like I say, most judges just want to get on and feel like they're sat on a proper Rolls Royce horse, and that is hard. That's really different. Again, when you're at some of those buzzier shows, it's really hard to get the horses razzed up to jump a decent course and then to come straight back down and chill pretty quickly, to then go in that same ring where they've just jumped and allow a complete stranger to get on and be in the zone and calm. And so it does take a pretty special horse to be able to do that. We're very lucky. Most judges are beautiful riders as well, so that makes our life a little bit easier.
Do you remember your first unaffiliated show?
Oh yeah, I fell off at the first fence.
Speak me through
Yeah,
it.
I remember every part of it. I had a really nappy, naughty young Connemara, and I remember Mum like saying to me, she was like, you've got to start somewhere. And he was only 4, and he was so badly behaved. And I came around the corner, and he saw his friend, and he ducked out at the first fence, and I went flying. So yeah, trust me, it's never all plain sailing. But actually, that same pony was second with me at the Horse of the Year show. So it's, again, you never write off the ones that are naughty to begin with. Like I said, like, you have to persevere, and it's a lot of hard work to train these horses to want to love it as much as you do. So yes, I do remember it very well.
And then do you remember kind of your first show that might have been like a bit of a pinch me moment? Like, I can't believe I'm competing here, or I've qualified for
Yeah,
this.
Windsor. So first time I went to Windsor, I'm incredibly lucky. I've won Windsor 4 times. Um, and that is my favourite show by a golden mile. Like, every year, it's one of those shows that I sit and think, please, can I have a horse that's ready to jump at Windsor? Because it is like, you just, even you drive through the gates, and it's like, oh my god, I'm competing on, well, now the King's Land, obviously was the Queen's Land, but yeah, that was my favourite show every year. And I have so many friends who will ring me and they're like, can we come with you to Windsor? We'll come and groom, we'll come and help. I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Like, we all, it's just, it's one of those shows that you do just, everybody wants to compete there. I mean, Horse of the Year show, obviously, but actually, I find Horse of the Year show really stressful. It's never one, you work all year to get there. Things always, it's a long season for the horses as well. You seem to get to Horse of the Year show and you're lucky if they are still on form and they're still keen and they're still, I always feel sometimes I get to Horse of the Year show and I'm tired, they're tired. And I always think Horse of the Year show is a little bit of a lottery. So although it is the best show to win, it's never really, I've had every placing there apart from the win. I think I've literally had second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, but I've never won it one day. But Windsor definitely is, that's my favourite show.
Mm. And when you're prepping for a show like Windsor or Hoys,
Yeah.
what's your routine?
So I usually plan something like Windsor. I would plan a good 6 weeks before. We're lucky we have a few qualifiers before that, and even if the horses have already qualified, I will always plan a couple of qualifiers in the run up just to keep them ticking, keep them in that kind of show atmosphere. I do quite a lot of show jumping as well. I never go very fast, and I'm not very competitive doing it, and I'm that person who can get time faults and a jump off, but I still go, and I just keep them going, keep them ticking, and then they'll work relatively hard 2 weeks before. I'll always try and do a show 2 weeks before, and then I might go and have a lesson. I'm very lucky. I've got a guy called Mark Bunting who trains me, and he's brilliant. He's like brilliant with keeping the horses, and he's great to adjust to whatever show, whatever horse is doing. So we'll like plan how we train them, what we're going to do. I'm all about confidence with them. You're not ever going to try and change anything a couple of weeks before a show. So I always want to try and just keep the bodies moving, keep them fit, keep them. I have a couple that are a bit fresh, and Windsor's really buzzy, so you don't want to overkill them in training, but you also don't want them to be too sharp when they get there. So I tend to work them relatively hard the week before, and then Windsor for us, I think, is on the Thursday. So they'll probably hack Monday, Tuesday, have a light school Wednesday, and probably pop some little poles, nothing exciting. And then obviously get baths and everything. And then I always tend to travel down on the day. I don't stable away unless I really have to, because I just think it unsettles them. I just always think they like to sleep in their own bed. I know I do. So I'm very lucky. Like, we're in the middle of the country, so nowhere's really that far for me. So yeah, preparation wise, I just always hope nothing goes wrong. I'm very lucky. We have a brilliant vet who is here weekly checking everything. And I work really closely with him. I'm very much one of those people. I like to make sure he has eyes on them regularly, especially when they're jumping a lot, just to make sure he doesn't notice anything that's not quite right or whatever. So yeah, and I just hope you get there and everything's okay.
Have you got any tips for turnout, getting them looking beautiful?
Oh, I could do that forever. Like, absolutely. Getting them looking beautiful. So yeah, I mean, grooming wise, all of the horses are washed. Like, we keep them washed at least once a week anyway. Never let their coats get dirty and grimy, and it actually their coats look far better for keeping clean. We wash them all using all of the Equine America shampoos. I'm very lucky; they help me out a lot. And then we tend to put coat gloss on a lot. Like, throughout summer, I'm always making sure they've got plenty of coat gloss on. By the time you actually get to shows, again, bath them properly the day before, and then we use a lot of Supreme products, makeup, and their quarter mark spray is phenomenal. So you can get very good sprays that you can put on before you do the quarter marks. It'll make them stay, make them look good. And a little bit of highlighter gel on their eyes looks lovely. But
But
yeah,
yeah,
but
but
like
like
it's
it's
just
just
keeping
keeping
on
on
top
top
of
of
everything,
everything,
keeping
keeping
the
the
heels
heels
trimmed.
trimmed, keeping the tails trimmed. Like you want their like now we've cut all the horses' tails right back, so hopefully they're thicker and look better for next year. Like I'm always planning everything of how everything can look perfect. Same with the manes, we trim them right back now. I mean, none of the horses ever have up the neck rugs on, even the grey ones when they're in the field, because I don't want the manes coming out. It's just a disaster if you've got half the plaits looking as they should do, and then half the plaits looking tiny at the bottom, which just makes their necks look wrong. So, like as far as turnout goes, I think everything every day I seem to be planning whatever it is we're next doing to prevent anything going wrong. Same with clipping. I keep the grey horses are clipped all year round. I think they look better for it. Um, and then, yeah, I think it's just keeping on top of everything. We never let the horses get dirty. It's just, it wrecks their coats and the mud stains their coats, and I don't like it. So, yeah.
How long prior to a show do you need to like clip and start thinking about stuff like that so that it's the perfect length?
So everything's different. So horse theatre is probably the main one that you have to actually plan. So any of the natives, I tend to clip them a good 10 days before Hoys. And actually this year with the one that went to Hoys, we actually clipped him 4 weeks before. We cover coated him 4 weeks before because he was so hairy and I was not going to manage to last that long. And then he had medium blades clipped 10 days before, and then we kept him well rugged, well hooded. And then I'm very lucky we've got some, and we've got the solarium, so under the lights every day just for 10 minutes. They run at toys and a hot cloth with hot oil just to keep the coat looking good and shiny and lovely. And actually, he did look amazing. It's just preparation. And I think that's again with everything with show horses. It's not like you're just show jumping where you can just clip them the day before and everything's fine. Everything has to be spot on and perfect. It's quite funny because I have one of my owners, we sit and we have like a little diary and we sit down and we write it all down, like, right, this will work for next year, this will work for next year. I'm like, God, if anyone can see me. But you do, and it does, like, because every horse is different as well. Like, I have some that I can clip a couple of days before Hoys. Like Prof, the grey horse, I clipped him 5 days before and he looked amazing. But I wouldn't have done that with the M&Ms because he would have looked scalped. So yeah, so it is. It's just every horse is different. It's making sure you have a plan and you kind of read how their coats are. Like say Romeo, we clipped him 4 weeks before because he was just so hairy, and if I'd left him that long, his coat would look rubbish because he got sweaty every time he was ridden. So we did take a bit of a gamble by clipping him twice, but it works. So that's fine.
What are your biggest tips for if anyone's watching who wants to get into working hunter? What would your biggest
watch the professionals. I learnt that way. Never be afraid to learn more. Never think you know everything because you don't. Like I even now I'm still always learning. I love learning. I love hearing anything off anyone. If anyone has an idea, I'm like a sponge. I just want to listen. But I never be put down. Yeah, I think the professional one's good. Like learn from professionals. Never be afraid to ask professionals either. I think I see now, I'll still go, like I went to Horse Theatre this year and sat and watched the Hunters, and it was fascinating. They changed all the judges this year. They had a load of judges coming from Australia and stuff, and it was amazing to see like how different like their judging was, like the type of horse that they looked for. And it was really refreshing to see sort of people who weren't necessarily really well known suddenly winning at the Horse Theatre show, which normally with some of the flat class you just expect some of the producers to always win. Not necessarily saying that's a bad thing because they're all beautiful animals, but it was just amazing to see like someone come from a different country and think of other things. So yeah, I think you can never learn too much, never give up, never be put off by one judge's decision because what one judge thinks will not necessarily be what another judge thinks. And I think sometimes with showing, you have to take it. Like I say, it's a lot of preparation. It's a lot of work. You do really have to love it to want to have a go. But please don't be put off having a go because it is brilliant. And I'm very lucky, like with the working hunter lot, we have such a lovely family, and everybody's out to help each other. I've had so many people this year who have asked me their opinion on this or that, and I love helping. I will always help, even if someone doesn't think my opinion is correct. So again, that's fine because everybody will think something different. So I think it's quite a tough it's quite tough to break into. Like I say, it's quite committed. It's like a full-time job throughout the summer. I feel like I don't see my husband or my child from March through till October. But I love it. So I think if you want someone wanting to get into it, don't be afraid to ask and don't be afraid to fail, because like I say, what one judge thinks, another judge might not. So, and if you do end up like at the bottom of the line or something, ask a judge. There's nothing wrong with asking, just asking what you could do to improve, what they didn't like about the horse, and most of them will be more than happy to help.
It's the main thing that me not being from a working hunter background would find really surprising about the discipline.
Oh, your questions are good. I like this. What's really surprising? What's really
Sorry,
surprising?
put you on the spot.
I think what gets it for me, I think a lot of people think working hunter is like not boring. That's not the right thing. I think if I speak to people from an outside point, like, oh, showing's so boring. It's like standing around for ages, and it's, you know, you're waiting around a lot, and actually it's not at all. I think it's a lot of top riders started off in showing, a lot of them. And I think it's a really good way to get a grounding of basic horsemanship, of style while riding, like, because you're judged on style, it makes you want to ride correctly, not just. I watched some of the show jumpers and some of the kids especially, and I mean they just go like the clappers and they go so fast, but are they actually learning how to ride or learning style? I'm not sure. Whereas I think working hunter really sets you up, and it sets you up as well for disappointment. I know that sounds awful, but you know, because there's only ever one winner, and I think with show jumping, because if you go the fastest, you win. It's dead easy. There's no, you might be disappointed, but you can just be disappointed with yourself because you didn't go fast enough. Whereas sometimes with showing, I think a lot of kids especially, will go in and they might think they've done their best performance ever and they come fifth. And it is hard to explain sometimes that a judge's opinion, you know, there can only be one winner. I think it's hard sometimes for kids to understand why they weren't higher up. And like I say, it's going away. It's not being put off by it. It's just give you, like, that should give you a kick at the bum to want to work harder and to want to be better and to want to. I mean, I'm really stubborn, and I'm like, every time I do badly, I'm like, right, I'm going to go under that judge again. And I'm going to make sure that I am 10 times better next time. I'm that person who I always video everything, and I'll sit there and I'll watch the video back afterwards, and I'm like, I could have been, maybe added a stride there. I could have been a bit smarter there. I should have been a little bit more active off that corner. And I never want to go and sit, oh, the horse did this, the horse did that. I will always sit there and go, well, the horse doesn't know what it means to me, and they don't know how much it's cost, and they don't know how much time and effort I've put into it. And, you know, I'm like, what can I do to make that better? And that's always been my attitude. And I think that's the best way to kind of look at it. But I think you'd also be surprised, like I say, about top riders, but how many. I know quite a lot of top riders who would love to jump the horse of the year show working hunter, but they know it's a really tough, really, really tough discipline to break into and to qualify for. So yeah, I think also, like, it's surprising as well how much all of us help each other. I'm, again, that person. I once had somebody, I qualified a horse for the Horse of the Year show, and I was wearing earrings. Now, back in the day, I always wore earrings. It was never a problem. And then the judge said it wasn't allowed. So they tried to find the rule book, and it said earrings should not be worn. At the time, I was like, well, I shouldn't eat chocolate, but I do. So nowhere does it say I will be eliminated if I don't have earrings in. But what got me that day was it was actually the girl who was meant to be a friend, who was third, who dobbed me in for having earrings in. So by getting rid of me, she then qualified for the Horse of the Year show. And that's just not how we are in the working hunter lot. So I now go out of my way, if I ever see anybody wearing earrings in the collector, I'm like, take your earrings out. Like, that's how we all are. We all get on really, really well. We all try and help each other. And I think we're all genuinely pleased when someone else wins. Like, we've all got really good friends within it, and it's like a lovely little family. So yeah, I think it's probably the limit of surprise you probably get.
Yeah. No, I love hearing about when people are supporting each other and kind of building that community within different disciplines. Because the whole reason I started my company and why it's called Atlantic Harmony is, well, the harmony part, obviously you work in harmony with your horse.
Yeah.
But the other side of it is I would love equestrians to support each other more and
absolutely.
work more in harmony. So I love hearing stories about.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, you know, we're all, like I say, horses are hard work. We all work really hard doing it. And I'm very much somebody, if I win a class, I want to win because I deserve to, not because, you know, of some technicality like earrings. But I think, and like I say, I understand Rory, who used to do Working Hunter. I mean, he was the life and soul of Working Hunter. Nobody didn't know him without on the circuit. He was Irish and he was hilarious and he swore a lot. But he was always that first person to help out. Like anybody had a problem, he would get on the horse. Even like when I was pregnant, I rang him, and I think he'd just lost one of his best horses, actually. I think the owner had moved elsewhere or something. And he was really grumpy, and I rang him and I was like, we need to have a conversation. And he was like, oh, and I said, I might need you to ride some of my horses this year. And he said, oh God, are you up the duff or you broken? I was like, yeah, thanks. So I was like, oh, I'm pregnant. Anyway, so he spent the whole year and we had such a giggle. Florence, go somewhere else. He spent the whole year driving around with me. We had such a laugh. He never charged me a penny. He refused to, which I will forever be grateful for. But we had such a giggle, and he rode my horses for me at Windsor, at Hickstead. He was second at the Horse of the Year show with Aoife. I actually managed to get back for the Horse of the Year show. I had Freddie on the 16th of August, and Horse of the Year show was 6 weeks later, and I had a C-section, and I still jumped at the Horse of the Year show 6 weeks later. I wouldn't recommend it. It wasn't my finest moment, but I only had one down, and I was like, so that was cool. But, and again, he kept the horses going for me, so I could do that. So we have a really lovely family, and it's not just, like I say, sadly Rory's not here anymore, and that did shake all of us up a lot, and a lot of us had said that it's just not the same, we don't enjoy it as much anymore, but we've all tried so hard trying to get that back, and that was really important. So it's just a lovely little community, so yeah, hence why I keep doing it every single year.
Yeah, that's so nice.
Yeah, it is lovely.
This episode is brought to you by Atlantic Harmony Equestrian, where clothes are more than just what you wear, they're how you express yourself. At Atlantic Harmony, we're not just another logo. We're building a community of equestrians who believe in connection, support, and making a difference. Our high-quality, stylish apparel is designed for riders who value both function and fashion, while supporting sustainable practices. Join a brand with a purpose. Visit atlanticharmonyequestrian.co.uk and be part of a community where style meets empowerment. Atlantic Harmony, where riders support riders.
I'd like to speak a little bit about when you do have a disappointing round, or maybe don't get placed where you were expecting to or wanted to. Yeah. How do you get over that and keep going?
Have a little stop, and I might have a little cry every now and then, and you kind of sit there with the lorry on the way home. I do all the driving as well, and Mum often comes with me, and we'll put some music on, like I just want to have a minute, and I just need to sing the whole way home, and I'll do that. But no, you do, you always do. I remember I had one at Windsor one year, and my black mare Aoife had jumped a cracking clear round, and she was third, which isn't bad, but the one that was second had a pole down, and I was gutted. I was so disappointed because I thought she deserved to have her championship moment, and I couldn't understand why one that had one down had beaten me. But it does happen, and I've been on the other way around. Or like I said, when I qualified prof this year, I'd had a pole down and I beat a clear, so it does happen. But you sort of sit there for a bit, and I do have a little strop inside. I never show it, but I have a little strop inside. And then you do just go away and you brush it off. And as far as I'm concerned, the mare jumped brilliantly. And that's what I mean. Like, every judge's opinion is different. And where one judge might not like your conformation, or might not like how your horse rides, or you're jumping around or whatever, another judge will love it. So I think that's how you have to look at it. And Although I do, like I say, somehow I just buy lots of chocolates and eat lots of chocolate on the way home, makes myself feel better. But you can't go out and win every single time. It doesn't work like that. That would be nice, but it doesn't. It would be boring anyway. You've got to have the odd blip of a day that you then, and how do you learn from? You're never going to learn if you don't make some mistakes. So yeah, but I definitely do have a little stop about it.
I would like
Quietly.
to speak about I'd like to speak about Hoys in a little bit more detail. You're not long back from Hoys.
No.
Speak me through what Hoys was like this year.
Hoys was exhausting actually this year. It was a lot because we had the horse works on the Wednesday and then had the M&Ms on the Thursday. So we went I didn't go really early. Normally I would go really, really early on the Wednesday, but Prof actually had an allergic reaction under his arm where I clipped him. He got really sore under his arm. So I wasn't actually sure if I was going to take him. And I went and bought a really expensive fluffy girth thing so he could be happy. But normally I'd take him first thing in the morning and like stupid o'clock early and go and have arena familiarization. We didn't this year because I didn't want to put the saddle on him twice. So we went normal time. Class was just after lunch. So jumped him, and then I had to fly back with him to go and get Romeo to be able to take him in the arena familiarization in the evening, which he's really cheeky. So I needed to take him in arena familiarization. I don't think I'd have jumped him the next day. He just needed to go, and for his first time, he'd never been, go and see. Like you couldn't have the crowds in the arena familiarization in the evening, but at least they can go in the ring. Obviously jumps aren't there, but they can go and have a look, have a trot round. And he was quite spicy. I'm not gonna lie, he was definitely a little bit cheeky. And then we actually stayed over. I don't normally stay over, but the owner had a stable, and if I needed to do the early morning warm up again, it just was easier for me than having to drive back. So then we got him ready. Actually, he jumped really, really well. Like I say, he's only young. He had 2 down, but he jumped a really, really good round. And I hope next year he'll be a really exciting pony to go and hopefully win it. I'm going to try. So we never really get to enjoy going shopping or anything right when we're competing. It's a lot of walking as well, back and forth at Hoys, and you never quite know what time to be down there. Like with the horse workers, we have course walk, like I think it's about a good half an hour before the class starts, but you have to be down there. So luckily I was relatively early to jump, so it didn't mean having to go back and get the horse. But it's just a lot of organising. And then I was back there again on the Friday. I had some kids that I teach that I was going to help on the Friday. So yeah, by the time I got to the end of the Friday, I was a bit Hoys out, but it was good. It was really good. Like I say, it's one of those shows, like it's the qualifying that is the best bit. The horse year show's lottery, but it's that qualifying moment that means everything. And I think that for me is always the pleasure bit. Hoys is just another show, really. But I love it, and you do go and you enjoy it. But it is a lot of it's also because it's indoors and we've been outdoors all year. It's a lot for the horses to suddenly. Some of the showing places around here went indoors literally a week before, so we've got a couple of rounds. And again, I wouldn't normally jump the horses a lot the week before the show, so it means then you're sort of changing how you prepare just to be able to get indoors to jump them. So that was a little bit like frustrating with Hoys. I could almost do with Hoys being. I don't want it to be a month later because then it would drag on even longer, and then you've got to keep the sound even longer. But like we could do with sort of a few more indoor and the atmosphere. There is nothing that can prepare you or the horse. Like you go into that main arena and the curtains open, and like nothing can prepare a horse for that kind of atmosphere. And they either go in and they go, okay, this is cool, or they go in and they go, so I joke, Prof, when I take him, I joke he's like chicken little and he thinks the sky's falling as soon as he goes through. And I do have to get in and give him a good like trot canter around before I start, just to kind of get him to go, okay, this is where we are, like man up, let's go. Whereas Aoife, the black mare, oh my god, she goes in, she's like, oh thank god everyone's come to watch me. So yeah, they're again really different horses. And she's quite a specialist there. I think she's jumped loads of clear rounds there, but bless her, she keeps breaking before I get there. So yeah, that's the fun of horses, isn't it? So yeah, so I love Hoys, but it's I think you get to the end of the week and you're like, oh god, what now? Like you prepare all year for it, and it's like you get to the end and actually, like I say, I was a bit knackered at the end of this year. It's been a long year. But yeah, we'll do it all again next year. It's great.
You also do a lot of coaching.
Yes.
How did you get into that?
I started off with a few kids, and I'm really good at making people believe that they can do something. I don't actually I started with these kids where I wasn't actually teaching that much. I was just getting in their minds and getting them to be positive and believe in themselves. And I quite enjoy it. I like talking. I never shut up. So I just started it here, and we used to do it in the old school. And I started to just do a bit sort of low key, just to tick a bit of extra money over, like not just having deliveries and stuff here. It was just a bit of doing a bit of extra coaching that I just really enjoyed. And then my dad, bless him, so gave me a bit of an option where he said either we redo the school or we redo the stables. And I was like, well, the stables can probably survive a bit longer, whereas the school can't, because it really, really did die. So I'm really lucky. We put a big school up just down the road. So it's like a massive 80 by 45 proper anti-bone surface, and I've got a full set of show jumps and working hunter jumps. And so really, like, I've probably taken off the last 3 years that we've had that, because when you've got amazing facilities like that, it does make, like, a lot of people want to come and train. And again, there aren't many places where you can train working hunter, like over working hunter jumps, like over the winter and stuff. So I always make sure I've got a really good course up. And even if people want to come and hire it, they come and hire it, or I'll happily teach them around it. And I've never advertised. It's just kind of taken off through word of mouth and stuff a bit. And I'm really lucky. I've got some really, really lovely people that I teach. And I've got such a range. Like, I have some phenomenal, like, housewives who are just great, and they make me giggle every time they come. I've got some really good riders. I've got some beginners. I've got a bit of everything. So I'm very lucky, and I really enjoy it. I just really enjoy helping people, and I'm not saying I'm quite ready to not compete and just teach. Definitely not there yet. But it's just like another added, and I've got so much pleasure out of the kids this year that have done really well. I think I had 3 people at the Horse of the Year show that won. And loads of people I teach that were placed, and like, that's just like, I get just as much of a buzz out of that as I would do if I'd won. So yeah, it's like I do genuinely really enjoy that. And like I said, I'm very lucky that I do have really nice facilities, so that does help.
How would you describe your teaching style?
Oh.
I feel like people pick up different bits from people they've met along the way.
Yeah. I'd like to think I'm not too feral. No, I'm really correct. I'm really professional when I do it. Rory, who taught me, oh God, the swear words that would come at me were phenomenal. But he was always all about having a really good canter, and I always try and work my basis on that. I genuinely believe when you jump, it's not about seeing a perfect stride or like counting strides or anything like that. I'm always very much, if you have the perfect canter or a really good active canter, you can never be wrong. You're only ever going to be half a stride off. And if you've got a really good strong canter, half a stride is nothing. So you can't really go wrong. So that's how I try and base it on. We have fun. I think certainly when I teach the kids, I'm hard on them. Don't be wrong. I want them to get results, but I'm hard in the right way, that I make it fun for them. I think kids learn far more if they're having fun and enjoying it. And I try and have a really simple style of teaching. I think sometimes if you try and fix everything all at once, people just go, what? I just don't understand what you're saying. So I always just try and pick on little things, little positives. And generally, when you do that, you start to notice a difference. Horses start to go a little bit better. People start to understand what you're saying. And like I say, 9 times out of 10, I just try and break it down and just try and make it like basic English for somebody to understand what you're saying. I never try and blind them with acting like you need to be a phenomenal rider to ride this horse or anything. I just try and, again, make them believe that they can do it. And I think when you start doing that, a lot of it's confidence with people. And the second people are nervous or start to lack confidence, the horse can tell. They're such sensitive animals. Like, they know the second, and like, you have 2 different horses, whether they then go, if someone's nervous, they then go nervous and they go a bit into themselves, or they go, oh great, I've got you. So it's just having that bit of balance for people, that they just believe in what they're doing. And I think I just base most of my coaching on that and just making someone believe that they're capable of doing what it is I'm asking them to do. And then normally I always want someone to go away from here and be like, God, I really enjoyed that. I don't want someone to go away like in tears, but God, I never want to go back again. So yeah, but I push people when I teach them. I always try and push them a little bit out of their comfort zone. Otherwise, they're not really learning. Like, you've got to, challenge. That's the word. So yeah, I guess that's pretty much my teaching method. I'm not too feral, I don't think.
You mentioned confidence there. I want to speak about that a little bit more deeper. Maybe if there's a moment where you lost your confidence or a bad fall that you've had.
Yeah, I've had plenty. Yeah, I mean, I actually had a really bad fall a couple of weeks ago off my mum's 4-year-old, which she thought it was a really good idea to have a homebred, and I was like, great, and it wants me on the floor quite a lot. And I did, actually, it's the first time in a very long time I bailed. He just went, and I was like, I've got no steering, I can't stop, and you don't really think, yeah, I'm getting off. So I did. And that hurt. But again, and I sat there for a minute. I thought, God, I'm too old to fall off like this. But you sit there and you go, okay. And again, I don't mind saying this on camera. We had, okay, why did that happen? What happened? I rang the vet, and I got the vet to come and check him, and he had the worst ulcers he'd ever seen. So again, I'm very much in my head. That's why I fell off. That's why we had an issue. He's now he's got a little bit of a break. So when I get back on again, we'll just drop him back down again. Just go nice and slowly. Take him hacking a little bit. Hopefully I went down the road. Yeah, you do. You just have to break it down and work out ways of getting back on, and just going slowly. You don't need, if you have a fall and something goes wrong, you don't need to get. And actually, I do it when I'm teaching kids here, or teaching anyone here. If somebody falls off, or if there's an issue, as long as they're okay and get back on again, I will always make them come back and do that jump, but I will break it right back down. So even if they end up going over it as a pole on the floor, and then I'll sort of go through with them why I think they fell off. If it's just that the horse is being really naughty or something, why is it being naughty? And I'd often say to them, maybe it's worth getting the vet to check them out, just check there's nothing wrong, get the osteopath out. And I'd say 9 times out of 10, there is a reason. I'd never believe that a horse wants to be naughty because they want to be naughty. I always think there's something, some reason somewhere. Usually. So I think, when you have lost confidence, never be embarrassed by it. Take all the time you need to get back, but you do have to get back on. And even that day when I fell off the 4-year-old, oh gosh, the guy who helped me made me get back on and walk it back to the house, and I was like, more because it really hurt. I'm too old to fall off at speed, but I did get straight back on. So I think it's just making sure that you just take your time, don't listen to what everyone else says, and if you fall off in the ring or whatever, drop back down, even if it means you're going and popping around a little 50-centimetre course. There's, your horse can jump, but I think sometimes people are too quick to then throw themselves back in and actually do more damages themselves or the horse, because if you're not confident, like I said, the horse will always know. You're far better to go, okay, let's take a step back, let's either go and have a few more lessons, let's go and do a bit more training, or let's go to a show next week, but we'll do the smaller class. So I think it's just always reading the horse, and never thinking, oh, but all my friends are doing bigger, so I need to jump bigger, because it doesn't need to work like that. So yeah, I'm very much like confidence is key, because I think if you're not confident, the horse knows the second that you get on and they can read it, and then you're already going to have a disaster before you've even started. Because if you're not confident and you're nervous, or you're not actually in partnership with your horse, in the day you both got to be in it together. So if you're not happy doing something, there's no shame in dropping down or going, right, I'm not ready for this level, let's just drop down a bit and start again. So yeah, that's what I'd say.
Looking forward into the future, what have you got coming up?
I've got to go back from holidays. We're a little bit quiet now till I've got this. Well, no, I lie. I'm not quiet at all. We've got this charity clinic that we're doing next Saturday, so the 16th. I think that's 16th. So for a young lady called Brooke Pickering, who, it's awful actually. She used to be a working hunter jockey. She's only 19. And she has a neurological problem, which basically she woke up one morning and she was paralysed from the chest down. And I don't know her. But I contacted her mum and just said, like, I'd really like to do something to help. So, and I'm very lucky. Like I said, we've got these facilities here. I've got amazing people who come and train here. And like, I said, look, can I please help? I'd love to do a clinic. And all proceeds can go towards helping Brooke with her rehab or her physio or whatever she would like to spend it on. Like, I just wanted to make her smile. Anyway, so I put it on Facebook and it's gone a little bit mental. And I think I've got about 100 people wanting to come to this clinic next weekend. I don't have parking for 100 people. So we are going to sort that out. And it's been amazing. So many companies have donated so much. We're doing a raffle as well. So we're going to do a raffle that's what companies donated for. We've had one company's donated lights so we can carry on. I don't have lights in the school because I didn't want to work all night every night, which I do in the summer. Like, everyone knows me, I'm a bit of a workaholic. So I always said, like, not in the winter. So anyway, so we're going to have lights, which then I know what I'm like. I was like, oh yeah, this is really good. Let's get lights all the time. So we'll see about that. But yeah, so we've got lights, so I can carry on for as long as I can carry on for. We've got, and we haven't released like all of the prizes yet, but the prizes are amazing. Like, and every single company has just donated these prizes and they are absolutely incredible. So I am so grateful to everyone who's doing that. We've got loads of people who volunteered to come and help. It's like a party. I can't wait, actually. So we're doing that next Saturday. It's the 16th, so that'll be great. And then I sort of run clinics all throughout winter anyway. It's sort of a slightly easier way for me to fit in all of my normal regulars, but now the nights are drawing out, like just drawing in, even I can at least fit everybody in. So clinics are fun. Like, it's nice, it's entertaining. So yeah, so I run a lot of clinics up until Christmas. Got a couple of young horses hopefully coming through. I will probably step down a few of the working hunters that I've always had, which will break my heart, and I'm not quite sure I'm ready to do it yet, but they can't keep going forever. And I feel a bit like at some point you've got to go, okay, they don't need to be jumping as big as they are. And I've had a great run, like old Aoife especially. I've had her since she was 3 and she's 16 next year. So I sort of feel she doesn't want to retire because she's not ready to retire. So I might, like, she needs to drop down a little bit, so she'll have some sort of plan for next year. But yeah, and I can't keep all of them. I'll have a yard full of like old retired working hunters, and then I've got to keep the new ones coming through. I'm like, it's just going to be like, I have a whole yard full of my horses. God, I'll be divorced. So I've got loads coming up, like I said, loads of teaching. I've got a couple of Connemara's as well to bring on over the winter that will probably sell in the spring unless I run another one with the grey Connie. So we'll see. Yeah, I've got some nice horses for next year, but I'm not going crazy with it. I've got enough to keep me entertained, and then, like I say, I've got plenty of teaching clinics. Just lots of nice little exciting things coming. So yeah, lots of fun.
Sounds like you got loads on from the clinics, the teaching, competing. You're also mum. How do you balance everything?
Actually, what time's the school run? We're good. No, I'm really lucky. My husband works in sport as well, so he gets it. He works for a rugby club, so we are both very much, when he has a day off, he does things with Freddie, and I'm lucky because his games, he'll usually have a game on a Saturday or a Sunday, but he usually gets a day off over a weekend, so he'll go and play football with Freddie, and he goes and does football and rugby and all the rest of it. I do the school run in the morning, especially throughout the winter. It's slightly different in the summer. That's a bit more full on, but again, Chris's off season is when my season is mental. So touch wood, we've always and I rely on my mum so much. She's amazing. Like, she does the school run a lot, or she'll go, I had to muck out a load this morning before the school run, so mum gets Freddie ready for school and makes sure he has breakfast, and if you forget that kids need feeding, have to make sure all that stuff. And she most of the time will cook for him every evening as well. I'm a terrible cook. I'm not just bad, I'm awful. It's like if I had to cook, Freddie'd be on, well, he doesn't like beans, he'd be on toast, that'd be it. I'd happily live on beans on toast, but I don't think I can quite get my child to survive that. But he's brilliant, and luckily he's not into horses, but he loves coming to the shows. He's got, again, some lovely friends, like kids that I teach and stuff, and he'll come down and play while they teach, and so we make it work. I'm not saying it's easy, it is what it is. So I'm not having any more.
This
Definitely that.
podcast is called Beyond the Stable.
Yeah.
So I want to know what you do not when you're not on the yard, when you're not doing stuff with horses. Is there anything that you like to do in your free time if you get any?
So we obviously just went on holiday for 6 days. I genuinely think that's my first day off this year. Yeah, we don't like, because we live at home. I'm very, very lucky. Like I said, this is mum and dad's house, and we built a house next door. I couldn't just go, right, I'm gonna have a day off, because I can't just walk out and not do something. So I'm very lucky. I've got some phenomenal friends. We we often like pop out to the pub for dinner. We try and have like date night with our friends at least like once every couple of weeks. We'll pop out and go and have dinner with the kids at the pub. I'm really good at bowling. I'm not really good at bowling. I'm terrible at it. No, we just try and do the odd. I don't get a lot of free time. I really don't. And if I'm brutally honest, even when I do get free time, my brain never quite seems to switch off from this. So beyond the stable, I don't think I have a huge amount beyond the stable. I'd like to lie and be like, yeah, do loads. No, I think everything, and maybe that's my sickness. Like, I eat, sleep, breathe this. It is absolutely everything to me, and my husband gets that. My child's pretty good at that as well. But yeah, I do. I will, like say, that's why we went away and had 6 days in Turkey, because I think my husband knows, unless he drags me away from here, I'm just never actually away from here. So yeah, I don't get a lot of free time, but then I think I'm really privileged to do what I do, and I genuinely don't see it as a job. When, like, if I could afford to, I'd happily do everything for free, because I do. I love having horses. I love that I can walk outside and they're just there kicking the door and demanding breakfast at 5 o'clock in the morning. But even so, I love it, and I think, yeah, I'm really, really lucky. So
my final question for you
okay,
is, if I could get any guest on the podcast, who do you think would be a good person for me to speak to?
oh, that's a really good one. Have I got to feel like oh, okay. Any guest on podcast? Oh, you see now, it could be like, if there's me, like, I'm trying to give you like a bloggy one, but I thought, I'd loved you to have had Rory, because you'd have loved him. He'd have just stood here and sworn and been great. You'd have thought he was hilarious. There's loads of people you could have. Like showing people, working on
anything
people.
you want. Anyone that you think would be interesting or inspirational or educational, anything.
Okay. I'm going to think of this now. I should have thought this out. I'm trying to think of a really good one. Do you know what? Do you know who'd actually be really good for you to have on this podcast? And as far as like doing the next kind of educational type thing, there's a young lady called Alice Homer who is she will be the best in the business. Her mum Lorraine was, or still is, sorry Lorraine, one of the best flat riders ever, and her dad as well. Like, they're proper generational, but Alice is, I reckon she's encyclopedic when it comes to showing, and she's won everything there is to win. But she's gone point to pointing as well. So again, she'd be such a giggle to have a chat with, and again, look at how working hunter riders also do plenty of other things throughout the winter, and everything else. So yeah, so Alice, if you're watching, Alice Homer should be your next one, because again, they'd be a great family to chat to about showing in general. Or even like, you've got like Rob Walker. He wouldn't be too far from you either. Rob Walker's phenomenal. I mean, I don't think anybody has won as much as he's won, and he's just like a legend, isn't it? Like, proper legend when it comes to showing. So yeah, Alice Homer or Rob Walker, I think you should get.
Yeah, perfect.
There you
Amazing.
go, the next one.
Gonna have to go have a research.
Absolutely. I'm going to send Alice a little text over. Alice, come on, you've got to go on the podcast. Yeah, they're great. And again, like, and I'm really grateful that you've done this. Like, it's great promo for working hunter, because it's a brilliant discipline. I love it. All of us who compete doing it love it. Like, I've got really good friends on the phone to yesterday, and he was like, what are you looking at this week? Like, I found this horse, you should go and look at this. And I was like, oh my God, it's like literally none of us ever switch off to it. And it's a difficult discipline to keep going. It's hard as well to attract owners, because when we jump, we can jump 2 horses. I'm going to say that we can jump 2 horses, and then you choose which one you take back in for final presentation. So technically, you're always jumping 1 HC, which that's really hard if you have 2 different owners' horses and both of them jump clear. How do you then explain. So it is hard to attract owners to want to invest in working, and it's so expensive. It is expensive. The horses are expensive, the running, the diesel, the entries, everything, which is why I say you really do have to love this to keep going and keep doing it. But it's a difficult discipline to attract new people in. So even if by doing this just gets one person to go, oh yeah, John, I'd like to have a go, that'd be amazing. Because it is, you need people to enter to keep these shows running. The shows are expensive to run, the course hire, the judges, all the stewards, who most of them give all of their time for free. Like it takes a lot to run the shows. So thank you for letting me promote Working Hunter a little bit more.
You've made me think of one more question that I just have to ask.
Yeah.
Is there anything about your discipline that you would like to change?
We've had to start this whole podcast all over again. Yes. So I'm trying really hard at the moment. I'm chatting to a lot of people I'm trying to get on the committee for Sport Horse. Because I think there is a lot that needs to change. It's still maybe a little bit dated, and I don't think I'm saying that's out of turn. We have certain rules, like this is just an example, like we're not allowed back boots on. I think they went through a phase of feeling they were performance enhancing, but actually I'd like to see things like that change. I'd like to say, okay, well, we don't need to have tight back boots or anything like that, but maybe we could have a form of back boot that maybe something like Veradus do, the young sport horse, whatever they are, back boots. So they're not enhancing, they're not tight, but they're protective. I had a friend whose horse studied its fetlock and ended up getting a septic joint, and it was really, really ill for the rest of the season with it. And if it just had a little fetlock boot on, that would never have happened. So there's little things, yes, absolutely, I'd like to change. I'd love to see more people doing it. I'd love to feel like it was slightly easier to find the horses. Like I say, it takes so long to produce them. That is hard. I'd love to see a lightweight and a heavyweight class at the Horse of the Year show. I think it'd be amazing to be able to jump potentially 4 horses at the Horse of the Year, because if we had lightweight and heavyweight, we could jump 2 in the lightweight, 2 in the heavyweight. I'd like to see more of it as well. Like, we have a lot of Horse of the Year show qualifiers. It'd be so lovely to maybe have a few less, and maybe have them at a few of the higher profile shows. Maybe have a qualifier at something like Burley or Blenheim, or I think sometimes Working Hunter isn't quite given enough credit for how good some of the horses are, and some of them are phenomenal. There's plenty of Working Hunters. There's a few that have one that went on to jump at the Hickstead Derby meeting in the actual Hickstead Derby. You've got some that go off to do proper eventing, and they really are brilliant horses. I think I'd love to see that sort of shown off a little bit more. So yeah, I could go into, oh God, I could be here till Christmas of things I'd like to change, but for the good, like for positive, and I'm not sort of dissing what we do now, but I certainly think there's plenty of, and I think Working Hunters have changed so much over the years. Like, you always used to go for a nice sort of old-fashioned Irish type, but that's changed now. And I say, because now we need proper jumpers for the Horse of the Year show. It was big this year. Those sort of Irish, I'm not speaking out of term of Irish, I'm trying to say this the right way, those sort of slightly heavier types that we always used to go for now just aren't making distances and aren't jumping the heights. It is a very different kind of horse that we're now having to look for. So I think as that's changing, maybe some of the judging habits need to change as well. I'd love to see some younger judges coming in. No offence to the older judges, but obviously, like, there's a lot of judges who've been around for so long. It'd be really nice to see some of the younger lot coming up and doing more judging as well. So yeah, I think there's loads I potentially like to change, but not change for just to enhance or to. But yeah, I certainly think there'll be, and actually Horse of the Year did this, like I say, this year they threw a joker fence in as the last fence that you could, if you jumped it clear, you got 5 extra marks. If you had it down, you got deducted 15 marks. So it was risky going jumping it. And that was fun. Like, it set like a little bit of like a bit more excitement about the class. And like, we've never had anything like that. So yeah, it's nice to see that little things are changing and, just making it all a little bit more different from year in, year out. So yeah, we'll see. I'm working on little things, but you never know. We'll see.
Yeah, no, amazing. Well, thank you so much for coming on.
No, thank you for having me.
It's been amazing. I've learned so much, and I'm sure everyone watching has as well.
Cool. That's the plan.
Yeah, no, thank you so much. If you guys have been watching, if you're across on YouTube, if you could subscribe and like, that would be great. If you're across on Spotify, you could leave us a review. That would also be fab.
You need to start following.
We're also on Instagram, TikTok, everywhere. So you can go follow there as well and watch the clips and the reels. Guys, bye for now. It's Harmony.
They look great.
And I'll see you guys next week.